Yeah, we're going to be checking out some of this fluid film. Actually, I have some Cosmoline. I still got cans of that. It's Cosmoline is something else that can be a protectant. Works very well. There's also various kinds. There's kinds that you can put equipment on a ship out there on top of the, cargo, whatever. It could be machinery, artillery, generators, whatever the hell it is. And you can case it in this Cosmoline. And it could be about that thick, and it's so much a protectant. It's not even like an oil. You can actually paint over it, like you could paint the everything yellow or something right over the Cosmoline. Then they got other kinds that are thinner, some kinds that are, because they run into crevices. I got some of that kind, and personally, I like using for rust is rust reformer and truck bed liner. First, rust reformer converts to rust in truck bed liner. But what I wanted to see is if this fluid film screws up this and put it on there. I want to see if it melts that freaking truck bed lining. I don't think it will, but I do know that fluid film will degrade, what do you call it, undercoating, even rubberized. I don't know about rubberized undercoating that's paintable, but undercoating, yes. I don't see any black on my finger here. I do know with this truck bed lining, I mean, yeah, brake fluid will destroy it right away, but also even brake cleaner. Believe it or not, man. I was under my car using some brake cleaner and I hit it with this. Yeah, it's not screwing it up. So that's good, because I'm not a big fan of something putting oil on the bottom of the car except on moving parts. And where I'm going to put it is on the leaf springs of that thing. The boat, and also the leaf springs and shackles of the Samurai. I'm going to jack it up so the wheels hang down more, so it opens up the leaf springs, because they're moving parts. There's no way you could freaking put truck bed lining on a moving part and expect it to stay where that part is moving. It's not going to work like a lubricant. I did spray Cosmoline oil on there. The other thing I like doing is using chassis saver, and got the black and the silver, this stuff. And what I do is I put a screw in a can, and then I put Gorilla Tape over it. That actually keeps it good. I mean, I have some of that silver stuff's been around there for 2 years. The other thing I like doing on this Rust-Oleum rust reformer is, yeah, see this? This is actually just the enamel, but I also use this for the rust reformer. See this? You can make this wand fit the spray nozzle very carefully with a drill bit. You got to drill this out just the right size so it fits in there tight, and then drill out from this side. And then the rust reformer, you can put it up inside in the doors, up inside the fenders, quarter panels, inside the rockers, in the drain holes. You can get in the drain hole. That's why I don't like putting fluid film in there, because I'd rather hit it with rust reformer than hit it with enamel. Once you put oil in something, the paint's not going to stick. But the fluid film is important where there's moving parts that are rubbing. It could be, I don't think it degrades the bushings or anything like that. So, just to double check this again. No, it's not coming off. Doesn't affect. I didn't think it would. I know it affects undercoating, and I already did this thing over. Used marine grade plywood, which that sits so damn good you probably don't even need to paint it. But I painted it with floor paint. Then I hit it with truck bed lining. So this marine grade plywood is probably going to last a gazillion years. What I want to do is get the leaf springs down below there. See the wheels are hanging down? I want to get them with that fluid film. And I'll probably use the fluid film on this thing just to touch it up versus going over it with, because it's already been truck bed lined top and bottom, and it's already 20 something years old, so I doubt it's gonna freaking I doubt it's gonna wear out. And fluid film probably be good where besides plain grease, it'd be probably okay for using with the trailer hitch ball. So we're gonna get those leaf springs down there, anywhere there's moving parts. And of course, I had to put the flag on there that YouTube algorithms like. I don't really care, man. I'll outdo them with just productivity. So we're gonna see how this works out. But again, I'm not really sold on this fluid film that much. And I know there's other things out there that's called New Hampshire oil. I think anybody up in the Northeast, because I'm from New Jersey, and I know when I visited up Maine on the coast, they used to see 2-3-year-old cars with big rust holes in them, 2 or 3 years old. So anybody up in Maine, along the coast, if they got stuff they say is even better than fluid film, like New Hampshire oil, it probably is. Now, you don't want to get these little these little cans if you're doing a whole car. You want to get like a big, 5-gallon pail of it or something, or with a special spray gun that's designed for spraying undercoating and thick stuff. It's actually, I don't know, it's not like the same, it's not like a paint gun. It's not just because it can spray thicker stuff, but it's the way it picks up the material. But I got the small cans because I'm not a fan of doing the whole bottom of the car with this junk. I would rather, pressure wash and take my, I already did this on the El Camino and everything else. Rust proof the crap out of it. See that little brush there? The yellow one, it's on a handle. I would get under there, pressure wash it, and douse it down with soap, which you can use just plain dish detergent, but I found out even better than that is that stuff. I'd spray that down on there. And then it's LA Awesome Cleaner. Get it from the Dollar General store. LA's Totally Awesome Cleaner. That stuff, really. Then you brush it down with that stuff, and then you blast it off with the pressure washer. And what I even used is, you see that white hose coming down there? That's directly off the hot water. There's like 2 valves that open up, and then you got a hot water pressure washer. Then after everything dries, you can blow it off with a leaf blower, dry it off faster. I douse it down with a lot of rust reformer, and in the areas I can't get with the rust reformer, I put this little wand on there and get in the nooks and crannies, like inside the frame, inside the rockers. Then after that's done, if I can't use this with the truck bed lining, this little sprayer, I'll use this high performance enamel or something. And then all the other stuff I can reach just on a surface, I'll hit it with truck bed lining. But that doesn't quite cover everything. Like I said, moving parts like leaf springs, shackles, front suspension parts, I don't know, maybe some little bullshit you might have missed. Then you got these cans. And I also think these cans, this fluid film, would be good for electrical stuff. Like, I'm going to spray it on this thing. This is not a stainless steel spring. I actually freaking coated it with stuff so it doesn't rust out. But I'm also going to spray it on the electrical connection for that. It's going to go right there. So, because even though it's not in a moisture prone area, over time dampness will get in there, and then all of a sudden you'll have, how come my CB isn't working that good? See, so we do that wonderful. And you know, sometimes, I don't know, maybe these little nicks and crevices, maybe the paint can't get in that good, this stuff will seep in there. And FluidFilm, they actually got a few different kinds. But I would also use it on, it's a little, you know, it might be good for something like this, and you notice there's some grease on there, where there's moving parts. I'm not a big fan of like spraying everything down. Like I wouldn't spray all this shit down. Like this, I would get in there with that wand, with the rust. I already did it though. And so this way, it gets, the paint gets in there, the rust reformer paint. If there's any rust, it'll take care of it, you know. So it's good for this kind of crap, you know. Anything that's moving like this, you know. Bottom hinge, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, we'll go ahead and do the leaf springs to show you what I'll be doing here. But I wanted to tell you, you know, one product is never the be-all answer to everything. That's one thing, you know. If you show, like, you see a video on FluidFilm or New Hampshire oil or something, or Cosmoline, one product is not the answer for everything. This stuff is dirt cheap, and I wish Walmart would start carrying it again. But I like that stuff because you got to put it on there heavy. Don't put a light coat so it just covers the rust and it looks like it's pretty. You want to put it on there so it really penetrates the rust and gets deep down and where the rust starts and converts it. Then when you hit it with truck bed lining, that crap ain't going anywhere. Now you can also hit it with chassis saver. I got chassis saver. Oh, I'll show you what I did. I didn't even bother throwing away this can because I figured I can use it for some water or something. There was a hole in the bottom. It was rusted out. I had the leftover chassis saver. I just wiped it around here on the rust, and I chassis savered in a piece of Munster Gorilla tape. You know, so there's no hole there. That was the hole. So that stuff is like freaking iron. I mean, that's probably the best thing to put, but you gotta, you know, you gotta work with it a little bit at a time. I like getting it, like that's, I'm throwing in a lot of stuff in this video because, you know, just getting a catchy video for 2 minutes and just telling you one thing, it's like, la 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 la, I painted my whole car with freaking FluidFilm or New Hampshire oil or chassis saver. It's not, you know, chassis saver is not going to work great on your springs, okay? Moving parts. The other disadvantage of chassis saver is, you buy the little cans, it's expensive as crap per ounce. You buy the big cans, it's a lot cheaper. But then if you buy the big cans, how do you, you know, you got to mess with the lid and you reseal it. I don't take the lid off. I just put a screw in there. And then it's a piece of Gorilla tape, then this screw, so it's like a gasket with a little grommet, you know, washer, then a piece of Gorilla tape over it. And it never, even that one that's silver, that's a few years old, it didn't dry out, man. And then anytime I need to use it again, I just take the screw out, pull the Gorilla tape off, take the screw out, put it in a little cup, and sometimes I put it in these little Dixie cups, or maybe the top can lid of a can, one of these cans, I use that as a Dixie cup, and I'll go around like, you know, one of these things. Like I might put it in there, a little bit in there. Then I'll take a Q-tip and I'll touch stuff up, maybe on my brake lines or something, you know. I don't like putting FluidFilm if you can use like chassis saver or rust killing primer with truck bed lining over. I'd rather you use that stuff. But FluidFilm has got its advantages for many parts, like hinges, latches, springs, stuff like that. That's why I only got some cans, because I don't plan to do the whole damn car with it. But also electrical stuff. You want to be able to see the electrical stuff, and you want to be able to take it apart. You know, so maybe you want to do the tops of your battery stuff. Maybe you got some custom Dixie horns, like in this thing. Maybe you want to spray down where those components are. So that's another useful thing. I'm not a fan of doing the whole bottom of the car with this stuff, even though it's good. I would chassis saver everything, and then after the parts I couldn't get to, I would use rust reformer and truck bed lining and rust reformer with this wand in the parts I can't get to, and then hit it with this high performance enamel. Once you put the fluid film inside the rocker panels, you're not going to be able to paint inside there. See? So I think I'm telling you some pretty good stuff here, man. It's like you want to do a combination of things. Fluid film is mainly good for moving parts, and it's good for everything. Yeah, it'll work. But I personally think chassis saver and rust killing primer with either chassis saver or rust killing primer with truck bed lining over it is better. You know? And if part of the truck bed lining comes off, which is probably not going to, or part of the chassis saver comes off, recoat it. You know, I think the fluid film is like, you know, somebody pulls a car in there and the guy goes, yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Really, it's probably better to use this crap. And it takes you more time to do this. You know, but then once you do it, it should last a lot longer than the fluid film too. I mean, rocks ain't gonna break that truck bed line or your chassis saver that easy. I think I've spoken a long enough time on this video, but you get the idea about the leaf springs. You want to lift the vehicle up. So all I'm going to do is back this up, put the floor jack under there, then 2 jack stands, lift up to one side, get under there, and spray down the leaf springs and the hangers, and also get some electrical connectors. And the leaf springs are already hanging down on the boat and the boat trailer and the utility trailer back there. So all you just got to do is get under there and spray it down with fluid film. I'm not going to use fluid film everywhere, because once you freaking put that junk on there, you're going to have to thoroughly clean it off if you want to have it truck bed lined or chassis savered or something like that, or use rust killing primer, right? That's why I'm not. It's good for moving parts, electrical contacts, hinges, latches, things like that. Over and out.